back to another edition of the OHIO podcast, everybody. We're so pleased to have all of you with us this evening. Do us a big favor. Smash that like button right off the bat. Don't waste any time. Hit it. Hit it a couple times if you want to. Just sit there and smash it if you have to, man. Good to have all of you with us in the chat this evening as well. We're going to have a great time, everybody. But before we jump into anything else, we are the official Ohio State podcast of Fansided and Scarlet and Game. Head over to scarletandgame.com. If you don't like the way my face looks or Chris's, we don't blame you. Neither do our ex-wives. You can check us out over there on Fansided, or you can listen to us wherever you download your podcast. Also, we are the official Ohio State podcast of The College Huddle. Head on over to thecollegehuddle.com where you can find us and 75 other college podcasts from coast to coast. As you can see on your screen, we have our spring showcase, that's what they're calling it these days, fan appreciation tailgate flyer ready for you. That's right, we are partnering with 2nd and 7, Ryan Miller, our good friends over there at 2nd and 7, my cousin Ryan Miller, where we're accepting donations that morning. So the morning of the spring showcase, I guess, we're still calling it a scrimmage. I am anyways. Tailgate, we're going to be there. And as you can see on the flyer, that's going to be our location right there. It's circled. We got arrows pointed at it. That's where we're going to be. So come and join us that morning. Stop by, have a donut, have some juice. Meet Mike Wargo, former Buckeye. Mike Wargo will be with us to sign autographs. Ryan's going to swing by and bring a kid's book to donate to 2nd and 7 or a couple bucks. We're going to be collecting money for 2nd and 7 and books that day. Come over and do that. And I think we're going to have some prizes as well. Joining us this evening for our roundtable discussion is my co-host, Chris Wilds, up there in the left-hand corner, and our special guest, Myles Holliday from ESPN 93.1, The Fan in Lima. Myles, welcome to the OHIO podcast.
Fired up. Where else would you rather be than with a bunch of guys that love the Buckeyes, right? And you can say OHIO over and over again.
That's right. It's the name of the show.
I love it.
We love it so much, we just made it the name of the show. So, funny story, Myles. We used to be OH exclamation point, IO exclamation point, and Ohio State said, no can do. So we just took out the exclamation points and spelled out the entire state name, and all is well in the world with us in Ohio State. But
that's a great name. It can't go wrong.
That's right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Myles. Myles, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Absolutely. Broadcast high school and college sports. Love life. A former high school football coach. Have a show in Lima every Saturday morning, out of bounds at 9 to noon. It's a sports show that we build on sports fun and silliness, and we have a great time. We even have Eric Boggs on once in a while, so that's a good time as well. We absolutely love the Buckeyes down at 93.1, The Fan in Lima. I'll be on the afternoon huddle from time to time, 4 to 6 there. Anytime we get a chance to talk about high school, college, pro sports, man, life is great.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on your show. Whenever you want anybody to show up with some tinfoil, I'm your guy. It's kind of my thing. I kind of just like dive into that aspect of things. All right, guys. So we got several topics tonight. The chat is just, you guys are moving faster than I can keep up with tonight. I love y'all. We'll throw some of your comments up here on the screen as we get going, guys. But so you all know Connor Stalions, right? You heard of him before, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think by now he's a household name if you're an Ohio State fan. I did a video earlier today. Don't leave the show, but after the show's done, if you want to go check out the video today, maybe you want to watch it tomorrow, I have deciphered and stolen, if you will, the signals from Connor Stalions. That's how I labeled it. I watched the interview several different ways, actually. I watched it with the volume on to hear what he had to say. I watched it with the volume off so I can just watch his body language. I watched it. I sped it up and watched it. I wanted to kind of see his body language and how he carried himself in real time quickly because I wanted to look at to see what his body language would say to me, as well as what he was saying. And so to go in to kind of give you the Cliff Notes version of my video, I believe Connor Stalions is in preservation mode here. If you guys remember a World Series a long time ago when the Chicago Cubs were in it, and it was a close
Yep.
World Series, I don't remember who they were playing from the American League, Chris, but there was a gentleman with the last name Bartman.
Steve
You all
Bartman.
remember?
Steve Bartman.
Steve. And who were they playing against that World Series?
Was the Red Sox, I believe?
So I think you're referring to the NL championship game against the Marlins.
Marlins. I wanted to say Marlins. I'm like, that's not the World Series. Thank you. Yeah. So anyways, you all remember the foul ball, right? He reaches out and he grabs the foul ball, and he immediately became enemy number one of the entire fan base, despite the fact he was one of them, being Cubs fans. I think one of the reasons why Connor Stalions is so beloved by that fan base is he is one of them.
Yeah.
He loves Michigan football just as much as they do. And so here's this guy who eats, sleeps, breathes, bleeds for, cheats for this program. And I think that's where some of the admiration for him comes from. He knows this, right? He absolutely understands this. He doesn't want to lose this admiration. Imagine someone who idolizes that program as much as he has, get to the level he did, and then get it all taken away from him. And then on top of that would become the scapegoat for the entire fan base, the Steve Bartman of Michigan football. I don't think the young man could live with himself. This is self-preservation, in my opinion. This is gaslighting. This is a narrative making. I'm going to set the narrative how I want. He comes up with a 95% of college teams have 95% of the plays, everybody else's plays. This is completely made up. There's absolutely nowhere you can find this statistic. There's been no study done by the NCAA or anybody else who've said anything of that nature. He just kind of made that up on the fly. And he also said Ohio State knew our signs. That's why we had to do it. We see this in politics all the time. Blame the opposition for doing what you're doing. We see it all the time. I really think he's in preservation mode. He's in gaslighting. He's in narrative creation mode right now, because whether the hammer comes or not, when punishment comes down, who are you going to blame for that if you're a Michigan fan? I don't think he wants that. That's kind of my take on the psychology of what he did. On the other side with the body language stuff, as soon as the sign stealing came up, body language changed. Eye contact changed. Hand movement changed. The volume, he kind of had this nervous laugh at first with things. All of these are telltale signs that someone's not telling you the complete truth. That's my 2 cents. I can't sit. I'm not a psychologist, okay? I can't sit here and tell you 100% I know he's lying, but it sure felt that way to me. Myles, you are somebody working at ESPN who interviews a lot of people. A lot of people are saying On3 did a bad job with this interview. I have taken the stance that On3 probably was given the fact he has a legal team, that being Connor Stalions, there were certain questions he probably was not allowed to ask.
Right.
Do you think I'm right in my assessment of that?
You're 100% right, because a guy like Connor Stalions, before they come on, they're going to say, this is what we're going to talk about, this is what we're not going to talk about. The interviewer's not going to bring up something that they agreed they're not going to broach, because then the interview gets shut down, right? They like having Connor Stalions on. Remember, that is an entity where they want clicks, they want views, they want people to watch, right? So they're going to want to keep Connor Stalions on the hook. So maybe when everything finally comes all out, then they can have Connor Stalions back and have a serious conversation. I really loved your point about the politician, right? What do politicians do? They diminish what's going on and they deny what's going on. Typical Connor Stalions right there. He was just mollycoddling. He was just backpedaling. He was really embracing the Walmart Wolverine culture, saying, guys, this is what we had to do.
100%. Chris, go for it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You are 100% on point, Eric. It starts with defensiveness. It moves to avoidance.
Yep.
Shifting the blame. It's all the classic signs. Like I was telling you guys beforehand, I'm no specialist in this either. Even though my major was criminology, I am no specialist in this. But my wife, who is a psychology major, did take has a master's in criminology, has taken courses on micro expressions. I really want to have her watch this and kind of tell me what she thinks, because I'll tell you, it seems to me that you're dead on point, Eric. This guy is just he's playing the classic part here. But to me, I think it goes a little step further. I almost wonder if he isn't trying for a second time to throw himself on the sword to
Be the martyr.
detract from what else is going on in Ann Arbor right now.
Yeah, the Matt Weiss stuff situation.
Yes, I think there could be a take. And obviously, Eric, he's lying because his lips are moving. You know he's lying. So yeah, to me, this is just more Michigan being Michigan. That's all this is.
Yeah, guys, got to remember too, though, there is a part of him that is delusional along with this, because the topic came up of, well, do you still see yourself being a head football coach? Huh? What? There is absolutely no way anybody is ever going to touch this cat in a college setting. He is never going to be, but in his mind, he still thinks he has a chance not only to be a head football coach somewhere, but to be a head football coach at Michigan. That's how delusional he is.
Well, he can always dress himself up in the other team's clothes and pretend to be a head coach.
$1.99 super chat from our buddy Speedman. 95% of what Connor said was 95% a lie.
There you go.
Nice, Speedman. Well played there. Well played, my man. Tyler, Eric, Chris, Myles, you notice every time Stallings has an interview, he's never interviewed by Ohio State fans or people from Ohio State.
No.
Well, of course not, Tyler. Why? His lawyers are never going to let that happen. Never. A good lawyer is doing exactly what he's having Connor do.
Absolutely.
It's dirty, but it's to do that. I use the analogy. If you all remember when someone goes missing and the media will interview the spouse, and because especially after some people, well, I think the husband did it, or whatever, and then he gets on the media and he's got crying crocodile tears and he's saying, please bring my wife home or my children home if it's missing children. We've seen that stuff before. It seems like a lot of times, and I don't want to put a percentage on it because I don't know exactly. A lot of times, that's the person who did it, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, but the lawyer or the legal team are in preservation mode for that individual. Let's get you out in front of this so it doesn't get too bad. I feel a little bit of that's what's going on. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I think at this point, with Connor Stalions, we're going to get more of the same until we hear from the NCAA on either more sanctions. There might even be more. There might be another letter, a national letter of whatever
NOA.
it's called. Yeah, NOA.
Yeah, NOA.
Allegations.
Yeah, because what we learned from the FBI thing with Matt Weiss was like, holy smokes, like the level of stuff that's going on there is it's starting to reach levels of where Penn State was. And I know it's apples to oranges here, but you see what I'm saying? Like, it's beyond the field now. Now we're doing things that are hurting individuals within the university and outside of the university, beyond the game of football, where Connors was definitely cheating inside the lines. But you see what I'm saying, that the program is getting to that level.
Let me ask you guys this. Are you surprised that Ward Manuel has been able to stay in the AD's position with everything that's been going on?
I'll tell you, my contention on this whole thing is Ono, Sharon Moore, they're all still there for one reason. They know too much to let him go.
Yeah, okay.
I think they're all complicit in this whole thing, in the cover up at least. And I think that they just know too much. And the university, the Board of Regents is afraid if we cut these guys loose, they're going to start talking.
Yeah.
I truly believe that's why they're still there.
Myles, let me ask you this question, because you're actually where you're located,
Yeah.
being in Northwest Ohio. You're like on the battle lines here, right?
Absolutely.
Where we are at in Central Ohio, yeah, there's a couple blues walking around here every now and then, but it's mostly scarlet and gray around here. There's a lot more up where you're from. Buckeye Pay here asks a good question, or makes a statement. Michigan media is paid for by the school. They only say what they want to hear. Whole university is a joke. What is your take about the media, the beat, if you will, from the University of Michigan? It seems like to us, and maybe we're biased in this, but it seems like if you judge the beat on Ohio State versus the beat on Michigan, that there is a lot more of a narrative that comes from the beat on Michigan that is very pro-positive Michigan football, where sometimes the media in Ohio State almost comes off as being anti-Ohio State at times, especially if there's anything controversial.
All you got to do is go back and look at Tattoo Gate with Jim Tressel, right? You would have thought that Jim Tressel had murdered people, and Terrell Pryor had gone around and killed puppies. All they did was exchange things for tattoos down, and there was news trucks camped out for 24/7 all the time out in front of the Woody Hayes. You will hear this all the time from Michigan State fan up in Michigan. They will go on record all the time saying that the national and local media in Michigan is always complicit with whatever Michigan does. They will never call Michigan out on it. And then you go back and you look, there's a ton of media members that go into media from Michigan. So if you have a vested interest, you're from Michigan and you go into media, you're not going to want to make Michigan look bad. Not to mention, where does the media make a ton of money? With alumni, right? Alumni tune in. You're not going to go after that alumni base that make them upset and say that Michigan is bad. The amount of coverage that's been negative towards places like Ohio State and Michigan State over the years compared to Michigan, and you can go back a long time with scandals in Michigan that have barely gotten covered. It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
Interesting. Yeah, you bring up a really good point that there's a lot of people in the national media who actually have ties to Michigan.
Do you think Rich Eisen will ever say anything bad about it?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Colton Weaver asks a question to us, guys. So he wants us to put on our predicting hats here. Do you think all of this stuff deserves the death penalty if that was still an option? Well, here's my response to that first, Colton. What is a death penalty in modern football? I don't know what that even looks like today. The years of SMU death penalty are so different because the eras now are so different. With the advent of NIL, with the advent of the transfer portal, not having to sit a year out, things of that nature. I don't know what a death penalty looks like. And if I'm not mistaken, the individuals from the NCAA who will hand out the penalty, it has changed from what it used to be. It used to be an outside source that handed out a penalty. Now it's internal within the NCAA. How's that going to change the entire equation here? I have no idea. Myles, I'll start with you, and then Chris, you can follow. What do you think here? Number one, does it deserve a death penalty like, a punishment? And what do you think is possibly coming down the pike here?
Well, first of all, one of my favorite 30 for 30s, right? Pony Excess, SMU back in the day. What a great 30 for 30. Guys, they were just pioneers. Everything they were doing back then, that's modern day NIL, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, it's legal now.
They should go back and look at it and thank SMU for allowing what has occurred today to happen. As far as the death penalty, here's the problem. I don't know if the NCAA knows what to do, because if you go with scholarship limitations, you take scholarships away, that really isn't a factor anymore, because if you have enough NIL money, you just give that kid enough money where he can pay for his own school, right? Do you take away the national championship? You take away the wins and all that stuff? Yeah, that's great, but people are still wearing those hoodies. They're always going to remember those games. I don't know if the NCAA exactly knows exactly what they're going to do to penalize Michigan. Should it be a death penalty situation? Much worse than anything that SMU has ever done. Much worse than anybody's ever done. Nobody's ever cheated on this type of scale and gotten the benefits from it that Michigan had. I don't think they have the answers.
This is the worst possible scenario. This is like the Black Sox married the Sandusky scandal. That's what this is right here.
What a combination! And it had a love child here, and his name was Connor.
Poor shoeless Joe.
Absolutely should be a death penalty situation. And NCAA, listen to me right now because I'll tell you how to do it. You vacate the 40 wins. You take away the national title. You put a 5-year bowl ban on these guys. Then you take, and you can't, like you said, the scholarships don't matter. You reduce their roster size by 10 guys for the next 5 years.
That seems harsh, brother.
You do that, it almost touches what should happen.
It does, and you really got to go back to show causes for everybody that was involved too, right? Yeah, they should never be able to coach in college football ever again.
Yeah. Oh man, the chat's coming out with some good stuff.
Donald's got a great one too here.
Yeah.
Ban them from the transfer portal. Although their portal's all going to be on the outside as soon as they start levying this stuff.
Yeah. Colton Weaver says playoff bans, limited financial abilities, and all coaches can never coach again. So he's doing the show causes. Yep. Look at that. Aaron says, dude, permanent bowl ban. He's like, yes, you never get to play in a bowl again. You're done. Well, I really think bowls are going to be a thing of the past here within the next, 5 to 10 years anyways.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe allow them to go to that bowl in Boise every year. That's the only one they can go to.
I was going to say relegate them to playing in the Motor City Bowl every year.
Yeah.
The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Is that what that's called?
There you go.
I think? Yeah, with the blue turf there in Boise. Yeah. Interesting, guys. So that's just kind of our quick take on Connor tonight. We wouldn't be doing justice if we didn't mention it, but there you have it, everybody. We're gonna change tunes here a little bit tonight now. So now that that's over, let's talk a little bit about Ohio State, shall we? But that's why we're here anyways. We're not the MI podcast. We're the OHIO podcast. So Ohio State, you all know by now, and if you don't, let me fill you in. During spring ball, which encompasses 15 practices, usually Ohio State will have 2 major scrimmages kind of behind closed doors, right? And then, of course, the spring game is typically the third one. Bobby Mack jumps in with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Bobby. Don't vacate the wins, give them losses. So instead of vacating, you actually hand them the L. Okay. That's different.
They deserve it, right? They cheated.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So anyways, Ohio State has 2 scrimmages that are behind closed doors. Obviously, some of that intel gets out. And so all 3 of us have been scurrying around the internet trying to figure out what information we can find. So I'll just kind of do a round. Feel free to talk about a little bit of what you heard, maybe some things that have you excited to see come the spring game, based off of some of the tendencies we're hearing from the team. Chris, I'll start with you, and we'll just kind of go clockwise here.
Yeah, for me, the big news has got to be, and we discussed it a little bit before we came on, it's got to be these cornerbacks, man. These cornerbacks look great from what I hear at the scrimmage. From everything we've heard, Devin Sanchez, maybe one of the best 3 corners on this team right now. It's going to be hard to keep him off the field. He is physically ready for the part. And, I think that Tim Walton has just done a tremendous job in recruiting and developing this cornerback group.
Real quick, Myles, before you jump in, Lisa has a question. Is our spring showcase game going to be on TV for those who won't be able to go? The answer to that question is yes. Is it ESPN, I believe? Or is it Fox?
Fox had it last year.
Yeah.
With Gus and Joe Clapp.
Let me try to Google this real fast for you, Lisa. Why Myles jumps in with his take.
Yeah, I want to jump on that Devin Sanchez train because I think he's going to have that kind of impact on the defensive side that Jeremiah Smith had last year. This guy, you watch him, he turns like nobody else. He is so athletic, understands the game a lot more than a freshman normally that's brand new on campus does. He's going to be fantastic. And Riley Pettijohn, the linebacker, I'm hearing also is going to be a tough guy to keep off the football field. Those two should have an impact on the defensive side. Everything I'm hearing about Matt Patricia and what he's bringing to the defense, the guys are loving. I think they're going to be a multiple front team. They're going to mix coverages. They're going to be very creative at how they get at the quarterback as opposed to we're just going to let our defensive ends contain rush and try to get upfield and maybe our three technique will push the pocket. I think you're going to see a lot of great things out of Matt Patricia's defense.
It appears it's going to be on Fox, folks. So, according to Fox Sports, they've got it set at 12 p.m. on Saturday.
Of course, it's a noon start. It's Fox, right?
Right.
Do we do anything except for noon starts?
On Fox, no. That would be it, right? So, anyways, yeah, let's talk quarterbacks, guys. Mm-hmm. So you all know my stance. I think this is definitely Julian Sain's opportunity to lose, and apparently, from what I heard during the first game, he didn't play the best. So does this mean that maybe the quarterback competition's a little bit more real than we thought? I don't think so. I think Julian probably. I mean, let's hypothetically say scrimmage number 2, he balls out and lights out, and everybody's like, oh, all's right with the world, right? So I don't know. But that's the intel I'm getting. But that also could be smoke too. I mean, we heard that back when it was Kyle McCord and Devin Brown, right? It was neck and neck the whole time, you know. So I just feel like this is a lot of just kind of placating to this is a real competition, and we want all the players involved to make it feel like it is, so that no one jumps in a portal or anything here. But that's kind of the intel that I picked up was he didn't have a great day. Better to have not a great day in the spring in the first scrimmage than in your first game in the shoe against Texas. That's how I look at it. Chris,
you would want, if you're an athlete, you want free reign in a game situation. Scrimmages, you don't get that. Scrimmages are controlled by the coaches, right? So if you're Ryan Day and you want to keep Lincoln Kienholz on campus, you're controlling the scrimmages and you're giving him opportunities where he might look a little bit better, and you're making things a little more difficult for Julian Sain because, one, you want to make sure he's battle tested. Two, you want to make this competition go as long as possible because the last thing you want if you're Ryan Day is to have a guy that's never started as your starter and then a true freshman as your backup going into a Texas next year. They want to keep Lincoln on campus.
I agree with you 100% with that. And this is coming from a former coach, guys. And he just said, hey, a coach can kind of make that happen a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget, let's not panic about a bad scrimmage. Think about Justin Fields' first spring game.
Oh, it was awful. It was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
I'm not too worried about Julian. As I said before, this is a battle for number 2.
Guys, I had the opportunity in high school when I coached high school football to coach against Ben Roethlisberger when he was at Findlay. Unbelievable tape, right? Through the 7 route, better than anybody I've ever seen, right? And then I went and I watched and I studied last year Julian Sain. And the 2 quarterbacks I've ever been more impressed with ever watching film, Ben Roethlisberger, number 1, Julian Sain, number 2. Watched him extensively last year coming into Ohio State. Never put a ball in a bad spot as a quarterback. Highly cerebral, moves well, throws a 7 route on the move. To me, if you can throw a 7 route and then be impeccable with it, you are a true quarterback, and both of them did that.
Wow. Nice insight there. Love it. Can we talk running backs, guys? Chris, you want to jump in on this running back train a little bit?
Absolutely. Running back wise, James Peoples, from everything I heard, is looking the part.
Yeah.
He really is, but don't sleep on C.J. Donaldson. The West Virginia transfer has dropped about 20, 25 pounds, I think. And the dude is moving and playing like a different type of guy. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be Quinshawn, obviously, but you know what? This guy's going to bring something special to this offense. And I really think that this running back room is going to be the catalyst for this team this year. Yeah, we're going to throw the ball. We're probably going to throw the ball quite a bit. But don't be surprised if they're not a big part of the passing game as well. I look for this running game to be very impressive this year. Possibly another year of 2,000-yard rushers.
Let's hope, right? That'd be amazing, right? I talked to James Peoples yesterday. Had an autograph signing yesterday. Guys, I was so impressed, one, with his demeanor, but two, his size. He is thick, man. Travion was there as well. He is a lot bigger than Travion Henderson. His thighs are massive. His shoulders are massive. And I said, are you ready for the Texas game? And his eyes lit up, and he goes, oh, I can't wait. So I think he's going to have a monster year. I loved him as a freshman last year. I would be shocked if he's not a 1,200-yard or more rusher next year.
Nice intel coming our way this evening. Love it, man. So I caught wind that in the scrimmage there was a big, and again, this could be controlled, like Myles said, a big emphasis on the passing game for both the tight ends and the running backs, which I expect that to actually be a thing. When you have a new quarterback, a younger quarterback who hasn't dealt with the speed of Division I defenders before, you kind of want to put him in situations where he's going to be successful, and that means getting the ball out of your hands quickly, which means that you're gonna play to the slot receiver more. You're gonna go to the tight end more, and if you're under pressure a lot, you're gonna look for your safety valve, which could be the running backs. And so I think it makes sense in the spring, Myles, that they're incorporating that into the passing attack early for these quarterbacks, because Ryan Day's no dummy. He knows he knows he does not have a 3-year CJ Stroud at quarterback right now.
Right.
He's got a redshirt freshman CJ Stroud maybe at quarterback. And so, as you all remember, back when his first start against Minnesota and then against Oregon, it was good, but it was not the same as he was in start number 24, right?
Right.
I think that this is kind of smart on his part. What do you think, Myles?
I agree with you, and it kind of goes, to me, it's the shiny toy, brand new toy analogy, right? At Christmas, you get the brand new toy. What do you play with? So you got the new tight end and Max Clare. You want to see what your new shiny toy can do, right? So you're going to throw the football to your tight ends quite a bit, see what your tight ends are going to have. Remember, you're losing G. Scott there. You want to find out Max Clare. He's supposed to be a stud. Well, we got to find out early if he is. And I go back to Chip Kelly. Always talked about, Will Howard would say it, just complete passes. Good things happen when you complete passes, right? Incomplete passes, that's the enemy of the offense. So if you're not certain about a down the field throw and you got a little outlet, you got a tight end that's hooked up, make that completion, advance the ball down the field. I think that's what you want to see out of young quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this tight end we got, don't think this is all smoke just because it's early practice. They're going to go to the tight end a lot. And I'm going to give you a hot take right now, Eric. We have a new record for receptions and yards by a tight end in a single season this season.
Ooh.
Wow. Can you guys even remember who has it? I mean, we've never been a great tight end team.
Billy Anders in 1966 had 55 receptions.
Good call.
And then the receiving yards was 671.
Okay. All right. I would have gone John Frank. That what my guess would have been.
I probably would have went with, is it Hartsock? Who was?
Ben Hartsock. Yeah.
Frank had 45 receptions in both 81 and 83. And then the next was Ricky Dudley with 37 and 95.
Dudley.
Ricky Dudley was a monster.
How could I forget the basketball player, Dudley?
Yeah.
You have a fan in the chat, man. ABH says, Eric, y'all need Coach on the show more often. He's killing it. Amazing insight. So hey, tell everybody, because we have a lot more people with us right now than when we first started. Tell everybody where they can listen to you at.
Every Saturday morning in Lima on ESPN Sports Radio 93.1, The Fan, have a 3-hour show called Out of Bounds from 9 to noon. We build it on sports fun and silliness. We have all kinds of fun. And then from 4 to 6, I fill in through the week on the same network on the Afternoon Huddle. We have a lot of time, a lot of fun talking about sports, guys.
So if you live in the Lima area, you probably already know this guy. If you don't, here's the good news. You can listen to him on the internet. So if you go, just Google 93.1 The Fan. They have a website. You can listen on the internet. I did, in fact. So I've done a couple times, and they have a really cool show. Big Nut, John Paul Peters was just on with them this past Saturday. Some of the guys from the Beat have joined, so they get a lot. It's got a very Ohio State feel to it, but they also
Absolutely.
They also do Ohio high school things for the area as well.
Yep.
And there's a lot of really good high school sports in the Lima area, in that Northwest Ohio area, guys. So
if you get a chance to, and you want to watch some high school sports, I broadcast for the Western Ohio Sports Network, WOSN, in the Lima area. We put all the games online as well. Some amazing athletes in the Western Ohio, Northwest Ohio, and Lima.
There you go. So there you have it, guys. Go check it out, man. I was blessed enough to be on their show a couple weeks ago, and as a guest.
You killed it, by the way. You were awesome.
Thanks.
We got a lot of great feedback.
Oh, good. It's better than getting bad feedback. I am on the internet, so I do get some of that, Myles. So. But that usually it comes from those who are fans of the other team, though. Usually,
yeah.
That's how it goes. But so one last question on this topic before we take our commercial break, and then we enjoy some silliness on this show. We have Myles with us, so we're gonna enjoy some silliness tonight. But what are you looking for in this last couple weeks leading up to the spring game? What are some things you hope you hear, Chris? We'll start with you.
A big question coming into this season, I think, had to be who was going to step up and become a leader on this team. I want to see that leadership role develop more. Now, from what I'm hearing, defensively, obviously, Caleb Downs is a guy who's stepping up, and you would expect that. But Sonny Styles, from what I'm hearing, is also becoming a very outspoken leader on the team. So I'm really excited to see where that goes. And more importantly, now we've got a couple leaders on that side. Who's going to be that vocal guy on the offense? Because I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah, you'd like it to be your quarterback, right? If that's the case on the offensive side. Will Howard was a great leader. Carson Hinsman strikes me as the guy on the offensive side that will do a good job being a leader. Along with your point on Sonny Styles, that's exactly what I'm hearing. Not just the leader on the defensive side. He was the one that went to Ryan Day and said, look, all the celebration about the Natty, that was last year. We need to stop it, right? We need to get that out of here. We need to refocus. So, major kudos to Sonny Styles for being the guy that led that charge.
And that's a guy who,
Yeah, he's a starter, right? Yeah, I love that, Myles. I love that mentality that this team is taking. And it sounds like it's coming from the defensive side a lot, which I think is fantastic because if you to me, I don't know how you feel as a coach. I don't know if you were more of a defensive or offensive guy. I love how the tough-nosed defensive side of things. I still feel like defense wins championships.
Yeah,
I
right.
still feel
we saw that last year, didn't we?
Yeah. I know the offense came alive and everything, but one of the reasons why the offense was able to get out to such big leads right away, how many 3-and-outs did that defense create at the beginning of games, man?
Right.
I mean, and we were putting our offense in great position over and over and over again, and we built these insurmountable leads in these games. So, dude, I'm loving this because we're replacing 8 starters on defense, guys. That's now I understand we reload, we don't rebuild, but still 8 starters are 8 starters and they're 8 NFL guys. Like come on, guys. Like, so I'm loving what I'm hearing from that. Plus it makes me feel good about the Matt Patricia hire. If we're getting this kind of positivity on the defensive side, that makes me feel good that they are adapting well to whatever this new scheme is that he's delivering. Have you guys heard anything about Patricia at all?
I heard that the guys like him. He's super personable, not one of those guys that will just have a 30-second conversation with you. Will actually get to know you, want to know you, building bonds with players. And, that speaks well to culture. That is the Ohio State culture, right? Every time you hear guys say, why did you stay? They talk about the brotherhood. They talk about the culture. They talk about the family. So it is fitting really well with what Ohio State likes to do.
Yeah, Eric, I was a big outspoken critic of this at first. I wasn't too sure how I felt
Who,
about
you,
the
Chris? No
little bit,
way.
little bit. Wasn't too sure how I felt about this. Wasn't sure how he was going to do coaching at the college level. But man, he really seems to be embracing it. And I've seen footage of him actually coaching, getting down there in a 3-point stance beside the guys. Sitting there talking to them one on one, actually really coaching the guys up, not just leaving it to the position coaches to do. He's actually taking an active role in it. I think that's great. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to end up being a solid hire.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I stand behind the thing. I still think he's going to be in a 1 or 2 year hire.
But if that's the case, it might mean we were really extremely successful again too.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
I know Ryan probably wants to get at least a couple years from people, because you want some of that to build on. But
Well,
yeah,
he wants 2 years to get James coached up, I'm sure.
And that's another aspect of it, right? Yeah, the Brian Hartline of the defense, if you will. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, if you don't see that transition happening down the road, you're kind of blind to it, right? I think James Laurinaitis will be the next defense coordinator, and furthermore, when Ryan Day decides to step away, I think James Laurinaitis will be the next head football coach at Ohio State.
Really?
Oh, he is so bright. He is one of those guys that is just a rising star in the coaching world. He is going to be fantastic, whatever he does.
Let's go back to where we were. Circle back to where we were. What are you looking for in these last few weeks heading into the spring game, Myles? I'll let you put yours in here.
Well, you can't win football games without the line of scrimmage, right? Left tackle. What's going to happen? Is it going to go into the fall where we still don't know what the left tackle situation is? And the defensive ends. I love the idea that C.J. Hicks is there now, but is he going to be an every down guy? Is it going to be Kenya Jackson? Is it going to be Caden Curry? What's going to happen at the defensive ends? Because Jack Sawyer and JT were just so good, very undervalued because we watched them so much. But then you go back and you rewatch film now, you're like, holy moly, were those guys good, right? So how are we going to replace those guys? Those are the two big spots for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. So we're going to take a quick 2-minute break here and then come back and have some silliness and some fun. But before we do, let me transition over here for all of you so you guys can see this since we have so many more with us now. This is our flyer. We'll put this on our social media sites for our tailgate for the spring game. As you can see there, we're right below the French Field House there. We're going to be right by that bike path. That's where the tailgate is going to be, everybody. We invite all of you. We want to meet all of you. If you're coming to the spring game, swing by the tailgate. We'll be there before the game, up until the game starts. We're going to be there from sun up until the game starts. And then we're going to come right back in there to the same tailgate area after the game, hang out, talk about what we saw, grill some hot dogs, hang out in the parking lot. Because if you're parked in these parking lots after a game, you're stuck there for a couple hours. That's just how it goes. So we're gonna have a great time. There's gonna be prizes. We're gonna have food. There's gonna be former Buckeyes in the morning that we know of. Wargo, Ryan's gonna swing by. He said he's gonna have maybe some of his buddies swing by as well from the '96 Rose Bowl team. And if you're coming, please consider bringing with you a small children's book or two. Donate to 2nd and 7. If you don't have to donate money, if you want to bring some cash with you, we'll take the cash as well. Otherwise, just bring a couple books. Bobby Mack with a $2 super chat. Do you want us to bring anything? Yourselves and a donation for 2nd and 7. That's all we ask. We're going to provide just about everything else for you guys. In the morning, we'll have juice and some donuts for in the morning, and then we're going to do hot dogs and stuff after the tailgate. And so we're looking for a good time. we've had any upwards last year, I think around 30 to 40 people when it was all said and done. We would love to see more than 50 this year at the tailgate. Come out, hang out with us, have a good time. We'll put this flyer again on our Twitter account, on our Facebook account. We'll be showing it before our shows so you guys can see it. If you want me to send you this flyer, please email us at theohiopodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's theohiopodcast@gmail.com, and we will email this to you so that you have this flyer as well. All right, hang tight, everybody. We'll be back in just 2 minutes.
Hey, Buckeye Nation. The OHIO podcast is thrilled to partner with Export Mouthguards, the innovators redefining protection in contact sports. Introducing the Ninja Pro Mouthguard, the strongest and most advanced mouthguard on the market. Engineered by dental experts, it's designed to deliver elite protection with a sleek, low-profile fit. Made with carbon fiber and multi-layer construction, it's impact tested to keep you safe from even the hardest hits. But that's not all. The Ninja Pro is 3D printed for 100% custom fit, offering unbeatable comfort and security for any athlete. From football to MMA, dominate your game with confidence while safeguarding your teeth and jaw. Getting started is easy. Use our home impression kit to create your custom fit and enjoy prepaid shipping. It's protection delivered right to your door. Plus, with a 1-year warranty and 100% satisfaction guarantee, and proudly made in the USA, the Ninja Pro is your ultimate defense on the field or in the ring. And here's the best part. When you visit exportguards.com, use promo code OHIO at checkout to get 20% off your purchase. That's right, 20% off elite protection made just for you. Protect your game, protect your future. Choose Export Ninja Pro Mouthguards, where innovation meets protection. Head to exportguards.com and use promo code OHIO today.
The OHIO podcast is brought to you by Mastermind. Mastermind specializes in 360-degree high-definition mobile video mapping, GIS integration, and traffic safety studies. Mastermind cares about traffic safety and keeping you safe on the roadway. Visit Mastermind at onlinemastermind.com. All right, we appreciate both Export Mouthguards and Mastermind for supporting us and sponsoring the Roundtable, and we're so privileged to have Myles Holliday with us this evening on our discussion here on our Roundtable. So let's get interesting tonight, shall we? I have an idea, and I want the chat, I want all of you to jump in on this as well. So if you're like me, the last place you want to be when you take a flight is the middle seat on a section on a 3-seater, right? That's the worst, especially if you don't know, if you're by yourself and you don't know the other two people. I always try to get to that window and just stick my face up to the window the whole time. But let's make believe that we are on a long flight and you are in the middle seat of your ultimate sports flight. And sitting to your left and sitting to your right could be any two people that you would love to have a conversation with on a long flight. We're going to make this Buckeye centered first. Then we're going to open it up to sports across the board. And do you guys really want to make it interesting? Do we want to do this? We do it on the flight out. Do we want to make it living people? And on the flight back, it's people who aren't with us anymore. Like it can be anybody. Want to do that?
But they're alive on the flight. They're not dead on the flight.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or maybe it's that last flight to glory. I don't know. But anyways, we could do that if you guys were interested. How about we just make it Buckeye centered first here? Myles, you're our guest. I will let you go first. Who's your pair from Ohio State that you would love to take a flight with for conversation purposes?
Well, the first, I got to go back to a time I was about 100 pounds heavier, and I was on the aisle seat, and there was another big guy on the window seat, and a guy comes to sit in the middle, and he looks at us, and he goes, "Great, two big guys."
So you're saying that Cory Stringer and Orlando Pace are not your choice?
No, without a doubt, right? When it comes to the Buckeyes, right, I just think it'd be amazing to have John Cooper and Woody Hayes sitting next to me, and then just sitting back and letting Woody just chew on John Cooper for the whole flight. Right, 210 on one. Come on, right? How would that not be amazing?
Oh yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Oh
Yep.
man.
Yeah. Can I give you a couple other ones?
Yeah, let me read DBs first. I'll come right back to you.
Sure.
Chris Carter to my left, CJ Stroud to my right.
Oh, very
Ooh,
nice.
yeah,
Nice.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, what's your next one?
Okay. How about this one? Stanley Jackson and Joe Germain, and just saying, what'd you guys think of that whole quarterback carousel back with John Cooper? What'd you guys think? That'd be kind of fun to pick their brains, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be. I've heard Stanley Jackson's take on it several times. I've never really heard Joe Germain speak on it too much.
And the last one I have for you guys, as far as Buckeye football players, I was 11 years old in '84. Keith Byers, he got robbed of the Heisman Trophy then.
100%.
He had Big George Cooper blocking for him. One of the best backfields in Ohio State history. I would just love to sit between those guys and just talk about the great '84 team.
That would be a good one. Brian from New York says AJ Hawk and Eddie George.
Oh, that'd be good.
That reminds me, I need to get your Eddie George take in a second here, Myles. I didn't do that yet, so let me write that one down.
Who, by the way, I don't know if you saw, Eric, but he offered Ryan Day's son today.
I saw that.
Yes, he did. He got 2 offers this weekend. RJ Day got 2 offers this weekend. Yeah. Carl Hugler, my buddy Carl's in the house. He says to my left, Jim Tressel. To my right, he worked for this guy at Ohio State, Earl Bruce.
Oh, I love Earl. Yeah.
Yeah. Carl, I actually, listen to this, Myles. I was able to obtain from my buddy Carl one of Earl Bruce's cats that he coached in.
Oh, the fedora?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
It's in a case in his house, man. It's
That's awesome.
I couldn't pass it up. Yeah.
Coconut
says Jack Tatum and Keith Byers.
Nice.
That's a good combination. Yeah. So Dennis has an interesting one. He says Kirk Coleman and CJ Barnett, they're both from his hometown. So
that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can talk about like all that hometown stuff, right?
Yeah, both underrated players too.
Yeah. All right, Chris, what you got, buddy?
Well, I had a couple as well. First of all, I want to get between the Bosa brothers and then get them in an argument about who was better.
Are you sure you want to be in between that?
Yeah. Then I want to get them into an argument about who was better.
They probably both get hurt.
Or Chris.
Well, there's no doubt I'm getting hurt. But, another one for me was I thought it'd be cool to have Woody Hayes on one side, Ryan Day on the other.
That'd be good too. Yeah.
How much the game has changed. Because I think that'd be an incredible discussion about how the game has changed. And then, of course, 2 of my favorites of all time, Chris Spielman and Chris Carter.
Yeah, that would be good.
That's a good one. So I got a pair of coaches, and then I've got a pair of players. First off, I'm going with Ryan Day and Jim Tressel. You knew I was going to have Jim Tressel, right? Like
absolutely, love the senator.
The bromance is real.
Oh yeah, trust me. And the topic of discussion I'm going to present to them is how to build faith into a team's culture, and just sit back and let those guys talk. I think it would be incredibly deep and philosophical, and I would absolutely love that. And on the players' side, I'm going with my cousin Ryan Miller, who I actually get to talk to, and I'm going with my all-time favorite linebacker and all-time favorite Buckeye, AJ Hawk. And we're talking linebacker play. We're talking old school, stick your face mask in somebody, defense, silver bullet linebacker play. That's what I'm going with here. How about Bobby Mack here? He says Lorenzo Styles Sr., he inspired me to play football, and then one of the Bosas. There you go. So some more defensive talk from those guys. So yeah, those are our Buckeye tandems there that we would choose to have flights with.
Hey,
And
Eric?
fellas, are you anyone surprised that nobody said Joe Bowserman and Steve Bellisari?
No.
Steve's actually a pretty nice guy.
No, I'm not. What you got, Chris?
How about this? How about we put Brian Hartline on one side, James Laurinaitis on the other, and talk about who's going to be the next head coach of the Buckeyes?
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. Coconut says, "Hey, by the way, Coconut was a trainer at Ohio State as well. He said, I got trapped in a hotel room during bowl practice when the Sullivan brothers got into a fight with each other. Holy smokes, two 260-pound cavemen going at it. I thought I was done for." Oh, shoot. Oh, Colton Weaver. He says, give me Terrell Pryor and Braxton Miller. That would be an interesting conversation.
It would. Two of the most athletic quarterbacks in Ohio State history.
Yep. Correction. Coconut said he was a manager, not a what did I say he was? Trainer. He was a manager. My bad. Carl was the manager. My fault. Yeah, those are interesting. All right, let's all right, so that was our flight out to wherever.
That was a
we're
great
going.
flight.
Yeah, that's a good one. Oh, one more. Brian from New York. He said, give me Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jeremiah Smith.
Ooh, I like that one.
That is.
I don't think
really
there's any debate about who had the better freshman year.
Well, I would just say who's better, to sit back and let him go.
Right.
Because they're both kind of quiet guys.
They are.
Yeah.
I think JJ's a little fiery though. I think he's a little more fiery than Marvin was inside.
It seems like it on the field a little
bit. It might be the only flight in history though that would have a jugs machine on it because they both want to catch passes on the flight.
From their seats, just like Eric said, just like this.
Yeah. Yep. One-handed catch the whole time, right? All right. So on the flight back now, sports. So any two people in sports, does not have to be Ohio State related. Who you got, Myles?
Oh, I got to go with Howard Cosell and Dandy Don on the way home. Both those guys just rambling on about sports, and we're going to have a good time because the drinks are going to keep on coming, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Howard Cosell was a character, man. Yeah. Oh, my goodness, he was a character. Yeah. You got one, Chris?
Yeah. I'm still going to have a little bit of a Buckeye flair to it here, but I'm going to bring up your boy here. A.J. Hawk on one side, Brady Quinn on the other.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I just feel like and I'm going to make sure to bring up that hit that he laid on him as much as possible.
Yeah. So, Brady Quinn, tell us about how it feels that A.J. Hawk married your sister. Yeah,
do you remember when he hit you, Brady?
Yeah, no.
Or is that just all a blur?
Right? Yeah, no kidding, right? Do you guys have any more? Myles, you got another one?
How about Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier? That'd be a lot of fun.
Now you're getting into where I was going with it. I actually have one here, but yeah, I have a boxer I want to bring on, but yeah, that's a good one. Chris, you got another one?
See, I thought Ali and Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've got Mike Tyson.
Who by the way, is a very nice guy.
Really I would love to sit next to Mike Tyson, which sounds crazy. I find Mike Tyson hilarious.
I sat behind him at a Cavs game one time.
Did you really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was back in the days when Terrell Brandon was playing up there. He was down in the front row. I was back in the second row. Well, had third row seats, but snuck into the second row.
I was going to go with George Foreman and Mike Tyson because I just think that would be hilarious.
Oh,
yeah, that'd be good.
Entertaining, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Colton Weaver says Michael Vick and LeBron.
Okay.
How about Stephen A. and LeBron?
Carl says Kirk Herbstreit and Lou Holtz. How about Mike Tyson and Lou Holtz? And you better bring your wetsuit.
How about Ryan Day and Lou Holtz?
It's spinal. It's spinal.
Let's get Ryan Day and Lou Holtz together on that flight.
Coconut says Mike Tyson and Sonny Liston. All right, good one. What about like if we did baseball players? I would want Nolan Ryan and Rob Dibble.
Ooh, yeah.
Nolan Ryan, just because I think that he could literally talk about the science of pitching, and Rob Dibble for entertainment purposes about pitching. Like, I think that would be an interesting one. This one's non-sports, but holy smokes, would that be interesting? Donald
Oh,
Trump
that'd be
and
a
Joe
great
Rogan.
conversation. That'd be a great
Trump and
conversation.
Rogan, that was a great podcast.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Let's see here. Brian from
Baseball,
New York.
man, you'd have to go. And I'm an Indians guy, you know that, Eric.
Yeah.
But I would still choose Pete Rose and Johnny Bench. Big Red Machine, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love Johnny Bench. Yeah. Pete Rose. Yeah. By the way, Cincinnati honored him at opening day. His daughter and his granddaughter, I think, got to go out on the field, and he was honored for that. I think they got his number hanging up on the outfield wall too.
They're wearing a patch too, aren't they?
Are they? Good.
Yeah,
good.
I thought they're wearing a 14 patch all year. Yeah.
Good.
How about this one for baseball? Bob Uecker and Casey Stengel.
Oh, Bob Uecker and anybody would be great.
Yeah.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Colton Weaver says Jeter and A-Rod. There's some stories there.
Bob
Coconut,
Uecker,
going back to the 90s here, Reggie Jackson and Ricky Henderson.
Met Ricky Henderson, not the nicest guy. Don't know that I'm going to sit beside him on a long flight.
Have I ever told you my Deion Sanders story when I met him as a kid?
No.
So this is back when he played for the Yankees. So this is really early in his career. And it's at was it Municipal Stadium? I'm not an Indians fan, so you'll have to forgive me. Was it Municipal Stadium?
Yep.
So the old Municipal Stadium, and we're hanging out, and we're going to get an autograph. And I got a baseball, and Deion Sanders, a baseball card. And my buddy's got a baseball. And Deion Sanders comes out, right? And his autograph. Are you ready? What his autograph was? It was him. He really autographed it. It was D money sign.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That was his autograph. I still have that. Yeah, but
that's great.
But he was just like, I mean, he was just as fast as he could. D money sign. Just
for a change, Eric, I'll be needing to acquire an autograph from you.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Do you have time for a Deion story?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Here in Toledo, he's playing at the old Ned Skelton Stadium, and back then nobody went to Mud Hen games. Maybe like 200 people, right? And they had a promotion if a guy struck out, the Tops Ice Cream strikeout player of the game. If that guy struck out, we all got ice cream, right? Well, Deion was the strikeout player of the game, and we're in the front row, and there's nobody there, and he strikes out, and I stand up, and I go, "Thanks for the free ice cream, Deion." And he's walking back to the dugout, and he stops, and he takes his bat, and he points at me, and he goes, "You don't need no ice cream, fat boy."
Now that's the Deion everybody knows.
Prime time. Dennis Moore says Terry Bradshaw and Pete Rose. That's a combination. Coconut, Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. Man, that's a good one. If you're gonna go with straight up hitting, give me Tony Gwynn. Like I could listen to that guy talk about
him and Ted Williams, right?
Yeah,
Ted Williams,
right.
yeah.
Kirby
Puckett might be another one in that mix,
Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn. There we go. We've got Tom Brady and a Drew Bledsoe.
They seem to have fun on the roast,
Yeah.
Well, they did, yeah.
Bob Uecker and Yogi Berra.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be great.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, How about this one? If we're gonna do announcers, Coconut's bringing up Harry Carey. Give me Joe Nuxall and Marty Brennaman one more time. Give me the old Marty Brennaman and Joe Nuxall. Those are the voices of my childhood right there, man. I would love to just sit back and listen to them. Just call a make-believe game in your head, boys, and I'll close my eyes and relive my childhood. But yeah, Harry Carey on WTBN. Y'all remember that television station out of Chicago? WGN, yeah.
WGN, yeah.
Yeah, Harry Carey. He had the big Coke bottle glasses. Oh gosh. Bobby Mack brings up the steroid brothers, Sosa and McGuire. The home run chase, right? That was interesting.
I'll tell you what, that was one of the best worst times for baseball.
Wasn't it? Chicks dig the long ball.
That's right.
And then after that, no one digged baseball again. It seems like
It did. It hurt it bad.
It did. But it's making a little bit of a comeback. I feel like it hasn't in my household, but I digress. I get that feeling in the spring every year, and then it's kind of like, can the Reds get me to can they get me to football season? That's kind of like all I really care about. DB Collins, Bob Feller, and Sandy Koufax. It's a good one. Man, we got a lot of baseball historians in our chat tonight, don't we? So
yeah, we've had some good ones there. Yeah.
How about a fictitious flight? So like we're talking like actors who were in sports movies, right? So if it was,
I got that one right off the bat.
I know you do, Chris. Who you got?
Give me Johnny Utah and Shane Falco.
Both played at Ohio State, right?
Yeah, both were quarterbacks for Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's right. There you go. I feel like you got to do something with
Sandler.
Well, yeah, right. But Field of Dreams, right?
Yeah.
Costner, right? You got to get Costner on that flight because he played so many iconic characters. But yeah, that would be a good one. You got anybody?
Yeah. How about Crash Davis and Roy Hobbs on the same flight? I thought that'd be a lot of fun.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What was the is Bob? Who was the announcer in Major League?
Bob Uecker. Harry Doyle.
Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
Harry Doyle.
Harry Doyle. Yes. Yeah. That would be good, right? Of course. Bobby Mack says, "Give me Johnny Utah and the Water Boy."
Oh, Bobby Boucher.
Yeah. Don't play Bobby's mommy don't want to play no foosball, right?
That brings me to my next point. Don't do crack. Bobby Boucher and LT.
Paul Crew and Coach Carter. Yeah. No doubt. All right, guys, this was a fun way to end the show this evening. Myles, thank you so much for being a part of this again. Again, 93.1 The Fan in Lima, guys. Saturday mornings, check him out. Good if you don't live in the Lima area. Go online, check out his show. He's also on from 4 to 6, you said, sometimes Monday through Friday?
Yeah, 4 to 6 on the afternoon huddle in Lima, also 93.1. Check me out on WOSN in Lima also. I broadcast college sports for Albion College. I try to get as much airtime. How do I keep this face off of TV, right?
Exactly, right? Exactly. Chris, what you got going on tomorrow night doing the call-in show, brother?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Eric, we're going to dive a little bit more into this whole Connor Stalions thing.
Of course you are.
I watched the whole video, and it sickened me.
It was tough. I got you, man. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern. This should be the show. If you've got something to say, should we take the family-friendly tag off this show, Chris?
Let's take it off. Let's take it off. One night only. We're going to take it off, and you can say whatever you want about the scum.
Oh, my. Mom, Dad, don't watch this show tomorrow with Chris. It's not family-friendly. I'll take the family-friendly rating off tomorrow, guys. So there you go. Chris said it, guys. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern. You can call into the show right here on our YouTube channel. The number will be scrolling on the bottom of your screen. So you can call in tomorrow night and get some things off your chest, right? So there you have it, guys. That's this evening's show. I will be back Thursday for the call-in show. We will have some other videos for you guys throughout the week. So make sure you ring the bell and get notified whenever we go live here on the OHIO podcast. Remember, be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. I know you guys know what to do. Until next time, OH!
IO!
IO. Thanks so much, guys.
Go Bucks.